And it's Friday. Hello, my friends. It's good to see you again. We have been doing our first 2 EL lessons this week, and we have been working on the word family up. But today I am sharing a book with you about tools and about specifically a chef's tools. So let's listen to the book, and then your assignment today is to answer the 2 questions that I'm going to ask you at the end. I'm going to read some of the words in this book. This is a non-fiction book, so it has a lot of information in here. So let's go ahead and start and listen closely. Ready? A chef's tools. So let's see. Oh, if you look, actually, it has a text feature in it called the table of contents. And so a table of contents has all information about what you're going to find in the book. So one of the first thing is it says creative in the kitchen, and that's on page 4. So we'll talk about this later in the year, but this is the way you know it's a nonfiction book because it has a table of contents. So creative in the kitchen. Have you ever seen the kitchen of a restaurant? Many cooks make food you eat. The top cook in a restaurant is called a chef. Chefs are in charge of everybody in the kitchen. They choose the menu for the restaurant. A chef has to be creative to make yummy food that everybody wants to eat. And then it says, a chef needs a talented group of cooks to help make meals. A chef also needs a kitchen full of tools and utensils. Good to know. Then it talks about preparing the ingredients. A cutting board, that's what he's using right there, is a flat surface for preparing food. It can be plastic or wood. And then it talks about other tools that you can use, like knives. Knives are used with a cutting board. And I know that we're 6 and 7 years old and we cannot use a knife by ourselves or at all because knives are very dangerous. But this chef has been trained how to do it, and they look like a grown-up, and so that's what they're doing. So you use knives with a cutting board. And like it said before, you can use them for plastic you can use them and they're made of plastic or wood. I have wooden ones in my house. Think about what kind do you have in your house. So then there's tools for cleaning and peeling. This peeler helps a chef take the skin off of a carrot. A peeler. Another thing you can use to peel with a peeler is potatoes. And this person is actually using a thing called a paring knife, and they're cutting an apple with the paring knife. Some foods need to be cleaned and peeled before they can be chopped. Potatoes and carrots are good examples, see? Chefs use a vegetable brush to clean the dirt from these vegetables. So that's another tool, a vegetable brush. A chef might use a small knife, called a paring knife, to peel the skin from the fruits and the vegetables. Peelers usually have a dull blade, that means not sharp, with a slot in the middle. Chefs scrape the blade across the vegetable and the skin comes off. Measuring it out. Oh, let's see of all the measure tools. There's a measuring cup and measuring spoons. Measuring cups and spoons have numbers on them. When you guys were doing your number hunt, I bet you found some with numbers on them. They help tell the chef how much they hold. A measuring cup that holds 1 cup will say 1 cup on it. And those are used for cooking and baking. Chef measured liquids in special measuring cups that have measuring markings on the side. Measuring tools. Stirring tools. Chefs often use wooden spoons for tasting hot foods and cooking over the stove. This chef is using a wooden spoon to stir and use tomato sauce. There. Look at that. Make sure you have to blow on it really good. But she knows what she's doing because she is a chef. And then mix it up. Look, friends, it's a whisk. Spoons are great tools for mixing, but sometimes a chef needs other tools. If a chef wants to mix ingredients until they're smooth, they might use a whisk. A whisk has a handle and a bunch of loops. That's what they're called, loops, that help mix food together. Some foods need an even bigger tool for mixing. A chef might use an electric mixer. That's what she's using right there. That has 2 beaters. The beaters look just like whisks in it that spin around. The fast spinning beaters can mix chunky foods until they're smooth. Keeping cool. Tool time. Some restaurants have freezers in them. Did you think of a freezer as a tool? Yes, it's a tool to keep things cold. And refrigerators. So big you can walk into them. So that's where they are right there. Can you think of tools that have to be served cold? I'm sorry, not tools. Food that has to be served cold. What's in your refrigerator? They asked. Bringing the heat. So some of the things you use when you use an oven. An oven is a tool. A stove is the top of it. And you can use an oven to bake goods. You can use these things. These are called tongs. We used tongs in a challenge that we did at school last year with EL, where we were trying to think of the best thing we used to pick things up. Tongs was the best tool for that. The chef is cooking food in a pan on the stove. She uses a tool called tongs to move and flip the food so it cooks evenly. She's actually cooking vegetables, and then it labeled the stove. Things for heat. Right on the time. So these are some timer tools. That's a timer that you can set. And this is a thermometer timer. This measures how hot a food is. Certain foods have to cook to a certain temperature before you can eat them to make them safe. And that's what this is. This is a food thermometer. And then it shows you all the different chef's tools. A cutting board, a knife, a peeler, a vegetable brush, measuring spoons, a timer, wooden spoons. I like wooden spoons. They work very nice. A whisk, an electric mixer, a freezer, a refrigerator, a stove and an oven, a thermometer. I think this is a meat thermometer, and a measuring cup. Isn't that great? Those are all tools that you use when you cook. So the 2 questions to answer today for your assignment, and we'll talk about in our small group, is what was this book mostly about? And then can you teach us about any tools that your family uses for cooking? Something maybe we didn't talk about that only your family uses, or something that you saw in here? What is your family? What kind of tools do you use at your house? All right? We'll talk more about it in small group, but that's your assignment for today. Answer those 2 questions. What was this book mostly about? And what can you tell us? Tell us one thing about a tool that you use at your home for cooking. All right. Thank you so much, friends. I hope you have a great Friday. Bye.